All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome to the Truth is Real podcast. This is your host, Vedo, and this is the up close and personal session with me, Vedo. Thought I would do something a little different on this Tuesday, spring day. I feel like that we need another up close and personal session with the host Vedo. A lot of times, again, I have hosts on here and co-hosts on here that do a lot of the talking. I do a lot of the questioning. They do a lot of the answering, and a lot of people want to like to or want to hear. A lot of people would like to hear, my personal views and opinions on certain things, and I didn't want to ever take over the whole show by doing that. I always wanted to make sure that I had people on here and give them opportunity to speak and not be the one that was always trying to talk and answer everything. So I feel like this is a great time to have an up close and personal session with Vito. And the reason why I say this is that, I'm going to say this past Sunday, got a call from a friend, and she was like, she's on her way to church. And I'm like, oh, church. Somewhere, haven't been in a long time. So, I was just like, that's interesting. Honestly, the young lady I was talking to, I did not think that she went to church. That was my prejudgment. Prior to speaking with her, she told me that she located a church not that far from where I live, not that far in Bowie, and she's been going to. And she said it's a nice community church. A lot of young people in there. Come as you are, and the pastor speaks to you directly. How you would probably want someone to speak directly to you. And I said, that sounds good. I mean, send me the address, Send me the address. And I'm like, wow, it's only 12 minutes away. 12 minutes away. I'm like, look, I can go in and put something on real quick and jump in the car and I'll meet you there, So jumped in the car, took a ride, and within about 20 minutes, arrived and met her in the lobby, sat down in the church, and started listening to the sermon. As the sermon began, we came there a little bit late, so feels like we came right at the right moment and right time. Um, the sermon started on the screen behind the pastor. It stated love and war. Love and war. And, I feel that that's something that everybody goes through, love and war. And as he started preaching and giving his sermon, he would talk to the fellowship, he would talk to the people, and he would ask questions, and he would state that, you know, how many people, well, he would say to the women, do you feel that if you don't have intercourse with your man, do you think he will cheat? And a lot of shy people out there. So some people raised their hands, some people just looked and smiled, and some people kind of laughed it off a little bit. But it was a question, and he said to the men, he said, "Men, do you feel that if your woman did not have intercourse with you, you would cheat?" And all the men, they looked at each other and same thing. Some raised their hands, some laughed, some, looked at each other and whispered, and just kept it moving, right? So, as I sat there listening to that question, in my head, we all know that sex plays a major role in most relationships. And I do understand that, we do feel that you're not in a relationship unless you're having sex. And I think that we've been pulled to a point where we feel that is considered love. If I'm not having sex with that person, then we cannot be in love. But if I am having sex with that person, we can be in love. And it's, and as the pastor was speaking, he was just saying that, and we think, most people do feel that if you're not having sex, that's not a real relationship. But the thing is that the pastor was saying is that is what we cherish. We cherish sex over so many things. The pastor stated, he said, you're more willing to have sex with an individual person before you're more willing to even have that person come to your home. You're more willing to have sex with that person, but you wouldn't even want to have that person around your kids. So you think about it, you're willing to open your body up, you're willing to put something in someone else's body, and you don't even trust that person to any certain degree. So, it makes you think how much we cherish having sex over everything else. How we can look past, the option of who this person may be, and not knowing before we do what we do that this person that we can't even trust. We can't even trust this one person, but we're openly having sex with that person. It's so funny how we utilize that action like it's nothing. It's been demolished because of what we put out in the air. It's been taken away. The meaning has been taken away. The feeling has been taken away because we make it so easy, so accessible to get. We cherish it to the point that we break the morals that we were born with, that we were given. We throw those out the door just for a feeling or a need that we feel like we have. As the pastor was talking, he was just talking so much more about building a relationship and not building off of something that's just considered a feeling. And let's really be honest here. Let's really be honest. And let me just speak for the men. I don't really know any men that stated that they married their wife because she had great sex. I don't know many men that said he married his wife because she was the most beautiful person in the world. I don't know many men that said he married his wife because she had the best body. So let's just keep it at 100, is that sex will never keep a relationship together. It's a feeling. It feels good. It's something that definitely makes the relationship closer at a point in time. But anything and everything can get old. And a lot of times we build relationships off the physical and not the mental. We sit here, we think, that's something that, that it's really hard to do. Yeah, it is hard to do. But guess what? I'm not saying, personally don't have sex in a relationship. But I will say, if you don't give it some time, especially from the women's side, if if you really want to see a man in his true character, maybe take your time and don't give it to him so fast. And it's not about, again, it's never about the man spending the money, but it's showing you what the man is really working towards. If a man's willing to pursue you and continue on pursuing you in a way, in a manner that's respectful and that has not been the number one priority on his mind, then that's something to look at. You're never going to really know what a man's true character is and true reasoning on pursuing you if you gave it to him on the second, third, fourth night. Now, if you're just out here having fun, want to enjoy yourself casually, I mean, look, we're grown adults, do what you do. But when you're really trying to figure life out and you're really trying to settle down and you're trying to accomplish something more than just a feeling, you got to think hard on that one. We open the doors up to so many people that we become numb to sex. Become numb. At the end of the day, you can lay down with somebody, get up, and never talk to them again. We all love it, though. We all love it. I mean, we all love it. So it's never something easy, but just think about that. Like sometimes if you take steps towards in that direction, it might not happen overnight, but you put that in your head, think about it, you know what I'm saying? Just wonder, if you did take sex every day out your relationship, would you still have a relationship? Is your relationship just built on sex? And it does make you want to think that. It does make you want to understand that, because again, if it is just built on really sex, it probably won't be a long-term relationship. So if you in it for the long term, that's something to think about. If you're just looking for something for the moment in time, keep on doing what you're doing. But back to the sermon, like I did say, it was another thing, like I said, love and war, love and war, love and war. And it was funny because he also stated that, we love money than we love people. And it's so real how that is a true statement, because like he stated, we kill for money. Not saying we generally kill for money, but people do kill for money. So when you think about that, is that you have people stab you in the back, people do all types of things just to be able to get to the money. We cherish money so much, and that's something on the men's side, is that we feel that when we do have money, that we can have that power and be able to get what we want. And then the greed from sometimes the women that see that, what it does to us with the sex and money, it all makes us throw the morals and our moral judgment out the door, to put us in situations that honestly are both negative situations. A man is thinking sexually, the woman's thinking monetarily, and then you put those two things together, it never it's going to end up in the right situation. It's never going to end up in a positive situation. So sometimes we have to understand and think that we have to take a step back and understand the reasoning why we're doing things, especially when it comes to relationships. We have to understand the reasoning on why we are making these decisions. And a lot of times I don't think we think that deep into it. I think we just go into it. We just go into it. We just go into it. But we never take a step back to understand why we're pursuing this person. If you're pursuing that person just because that person just looks good and you just thinking sexually, I mean, really, like I said, if you're looking for some, if you're looking for something long term, and you're just pursuing that person in that type of manner, and you haven't even thought about sitting down having a real conversation with her, what are you doing? And then for the women, if you're just pursuing that man because you feel like monetarily he brings some value to you, and you haven't sat down with him, had a real conversation, then what are you doing? We have to really take a step back. I mean, at the end of the day, relationships, it feels like, why be in one? Everybody's out for their own self, and no one is even trying to sit down and understand each other anymore. To the point, like I did say, we're so confused that we do feel that just because we're having sex, that means we're in a relationship. I don't understand why we feel that way. I never get it. And I just think that we do need to sit back and focus on the meaning and definition on in being in a real relationship. It's so funny when he says love and war, because when I hear war, I think about negativity, and I realize, just being there and sitting in that sermon, is that I'm tired, and I don't want to be around any more negativity. Negativity is something that sticks to your skin, sticks to your soul, sticks to your mindset. And I just feel like we all are becoming negative people. Um, Everything we see is negative. Everything we hear is negative. Everything we do is negative. We're around negative people. Negative is now the norm in life. Anybody that decides to do anything in a positive manner, has positive mindset, positive thoughts, they're looked at as being the oddball. We've made just being negative just a way of life. Negative is considered being cool. And I feel that, I'm trying to take a step back. I've been living a life that I feel that has been around negative people, negative things, and just I'm tired. I feel like just being in that going to that church and sitting and listening to that sermon and just understanding that you can't make a change without making a change. And as you sit there and you listen, and what he said is that a lot of you guys are going to walk right out of here and go straight to the club and go smoke, go drink, and go live it up, and try to come back in here next Sunday and try to make yourself feel better. But if you don't leave here and make a change, you're just returning into another cycle, another circle, and not ever achieving the true blessings that you want to receive. And it's not something that happens overnight, but I do feel that change is needed. To be able to have that positive life, that positive energy around you, you have to change what you're doing. You have to change where you are. You have to change the people that you are around. I think, at a point in people's lives, you get tired. You get tired of just the negativity that is surrounding you. You feel like that you're at a point in your life that you want to focus on more godly and positive things that make you feel more full within yourself as a person. Makes you feel like you have reasoning of being here. A lot of times, a lot of us don't feel like we have any purpose. And the reason why we don't feel like we have any purpose is we're not allowing the blessings that are being put in front of us. We're not accepting those blessings. We're going against it because of a feeling and a need in ourselves that we need to be the norm, which is not the positivity anymore. The norm is the negativity. And if you don't fit in, then you don't fit in. And we are trying to fit in to something that is not even a positive thing. And it's funny because I sat in that sermon and I looked around all the young people in there, and a lot of young people in there, came as is, and were really in there, really just trying to take in what that pastor was saying. And they were all from all walks of life. And I was just sitting there, just thinking about, everyone in here has a story. Everyone in here has a certain pain that they've gone through, that just the belief and the hope that, you trying to follow the direction that, God has put out there in front of you would help you get through the pain and the struggles that you've gone through, because everybody has something that they're dealing with. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you live. Every individual person has some certain pain that they deal with. And, one thing that we don't realize is that it's all about how you cope and deal with it. And, I do understand that sometimes, you need something to pick you up. But I felt like, honestly, like, going into a church, gives you that faith. It gives you the extra push. It gives you the understanding to know that everything's going to be okay. That if you keep that faith, you keep strong, and you stay positive, and you try to live the life, the best you can, things will be okay. At the end of the day, God will have your back, and he will also protect you. But again, a lot of times we live in a way that it's negative, that we're missing those blessings, we're missing that protection. So love and war, love and war, love and war. Like I did say, it was just something that really touched me. Relationships. A lot of times we're in a relationship, and you know, we know that relationship is something we should not be in. We know for a fact that relationship is something we shouldn't be in. It's a lot of times when a relationship where you're putting in all your energy and you're not getting that in return. It's not being reciprocated. So, we have to understand and sometimes stand strong and know that it's some people out here that you might love, some people out here that you might care so much about, but guess what? They don't care about you. They don't care about you. And that's the hardest thing to suck up and take is that, hey, yeah, you may feel this way about this one particular person, but guess what? They don't feel that way about you. So let it go. It's better to let it go and put that energy into someone or something that is reciprocating what you're giving back to them. And at the end of the day, we got to be strong. And that's why I said when you have faith, when you have God in your life, I feel that those decisions, those hard decisions, when you have to come down to it, that faith in having God in your life allows you to make that decision a lot easier. Allows you to step back and know, you know what, value yourself. If someone doesn't value you, value yourself. If you don't choose you, who's going to choose you? If you don't bet on yourself, who's going to bet on you? So sometimes you got to take a step back. You got to say, hey, you know what? I value myself. So let me take myself out this situation before I devaluate myself. And that's never a good thing. It's never a good thing. So, love and war, love and war, love and war. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you are in love, but you're at war with yourself. And that's another thing. How can you really be in a real relationship when you're still fighting with your inner demons? And when you're fighting with your inner demons, what are you doing? You're putting that negativity back on someone else. So a lot of times we're in these relationships and they're not going to work because we're not whole with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We're not to the point where we're able to even focus on being in a new relationship because we're broken. A lot of people are broken individuals. And that goes out to men and women. A lot of people are broken individuals. A lot of people don't know how to love, don't know what love is, and never really been in love. It's hard because the upbringing of a lot of people, they might have not seen a lot of love in their household. So again, if you didn't see love in your household, then now you're at a grown adult trying to figure out what love is, and that could take some time. And that's another reason why you have relationships that are built on sex, and they think that sex equals love. So, all I'm going to say at the end of the day is that church was an eye opener to just understanding more about everyday life, what you deal with, making decisions, understanding yourself, understanding your value, understanding your purpose, and just knowing that you can't change if you don't make a change. And that stuck with me, and if anything, I'm gonna leave out with that understanding is that if I want to see better for myself, I have to change certain things in my life to make sure that I'm able to receive the blessings that are waiting for me. You know, so whatever that change may be, I'm gonna start taking small steps and hope them small steps turn to big steps. Because I'm also not perfect. I'm also someone that needs to follow the same directions that I speak every day, or that I do talk about on the podcast. It comes directly from someone who's never saying that they're a perfect individual, never saying that their life is great, but at the end of the day, around it is somebody that's trying to push the know-how, understanding, and the positivity of knowing that let's try to do this together. There's other people out here that's trying to better themselves and trying to get away from negative things, negative people, negative environments, and it's not easy. So if I can push that down people's heads as it's being pushed down my heads and pass that word around and try to speak it. I feel like speaking things help you make things come into existence. So if I feel that me having to talk about this and me speak on this and you know push this word out, it's therapeutic to me. It allows me to um, write it down in my brain, in my mind, and move forward in the right direction of trying to become a better person, and have a better life, and and receive those blessings, like I did say, that are waiting for me. So I just think that you know the truth is real, and I can't be more real than this. Is that um, if you don't go to church, and everybody doesn't go to church, everybody doesn't believe in God, or whatever God you do believe in, or if you don't believe in God, have some type of faith, in something or someone or something that will help motivate you to be a more positive person, because we have people out here that are dying every day. You have people out here that you see one day and gone the next day, and you just wonder if certain things in their life was changed, if they would still be here. I have a few friends that I sit back and I look at them like, wow, they were here and then they're gone. But it's a few of them that I did honestly try to speak to. I did try to curve in another direction that would, and they weren't bad people, but you got to sometimes eliminate yourself from that environment, because just being in that environment can push you into somewhere that you don't need to be. Um, you know, I don't know what more I could have done, but I did try to do what I could do to try to, like I said, curve them in a better direction. Hey, I can say, I have few friends in the last 2 years um, go, and I can say every single one of those friends that passed in the last couple of years, I definitely had a conversation with, because I did feel that if things did not change and that environment didn't change, and that it could lead them in a place that I never wanted to see. So I can't say nothing more than change. Change. Get away from the negativity. You know, um, it's hard. I know it is hard, but I mean, I just feel that it's not about trying to be cool, man. It's not about that. It's life is more important than all that. Life is way more important. Your family's way more important. Your friends, uh, your significant others is way more important than just trying to be cool and put yourself in um, situations that could have saved your life or a friend's life. Um, that I mean, put yourself in You don't want to put yourself into situations that could end up be detrimental to you or a friend. Um, I mean, so simple, just by just going into a club and walking out the club. Um, you got to now think twice about the movements, of how you move through that night. It's to the point where you no longer can just walk outside and just laugh and joke with your friends and walk to your car. You have to look over your shoulder and rush and hurry up and get into that car and pull off. Times have changed. So um, just this again, it goes back to change. It's not, like I said, it's not easy, but if you don't make that change, your life won't change. So, up close and personal again, like I said, just had to speak to the people, real quick, and let them know that life can be better, life can get better, but without you understanding why you do things and why you put yourself in certain situations and making those changes, life can't get better for you, you know? So I'm going to try to follow the sermon. I'm going to try to follow what the pastor said. I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to try to make changes in my life. hopefully anyone listening also that feels like I feel, they would try to do better and make changes in their life. I think that if you have friends and people around you that you see are going left, man, grab them by the shoulder and let them know, you know, there's bigger things out here for them, but they will never see it if they don't make that change now because life is not guaranteed forever. We never know when our day is it's called, and the last thing you want is to have that day called sooner because you just didn't want to follow the blessings that God put in front of you. So, Truth is Real podcast. Thank you again. Like I did say, make sure you follow us on Truth is Real podcast on Instagram, Truth is Real podcast on YouTube and TikTok. Again, this is your host Vedo. Thank you for anyone and everyone who's listening and supporting. And like I said, we have bigger and better things coming soon. But we're gonna catch you again next time. Thank you again.